Look at your phone right now, open your camera roll. What do you see? Is it selfies? Photos of your meals? Or is it hundreds, maybe thousands of images of a creature that isn't human? Look around at modern life. We have strollers for dogs. We throw birthday parties for cats. We have people who proudly declare they don't want children because they have their dog instead. Some people laugh at this phenomenon. They think it's silly, that it's just people playing pretend with animals. But it's not pretend at all. Psychologically, the brain genuinely doesn't know the difference. When you look at your pet and feel that overwhelming rush of love, your body is releasing the exact same chemicals it would release if you were looking at your own human child. We are not just pet owners anymore. We've become parents to a different species. But why is this happening now? Is it simply because they're cute? Or is it because we're lonely? The answer runs much deeper than surface explanations. We treat them like children because they offer us something human. Children can never give us a love that never grows up, never judges, and never leaves. Let's start with the most obvious psychological reason, the concept of the forever child. If you have a human child, your job is to raise them to eventually leave you. That's the hard truth of parenting. You teach them to walk so they can walk away. You teach them to talk so they can argue with you and form their own opinions. You raise them to become independent adults who eventually won't need you anymore. But a pet remains the child that never leaves. For people who carry a deep fear of abandonment, or for people who need to feel needed, a pet represents the perfect solution. They will never pack their bags and move away to college. They will never get married and forget to call you. They stay frozen in that toddler phase forever. They always need you to feed them. They always need your help. They always want to be near you. This creates a sense of permanent safety for the owner. You don't have to worry about the relationship changing or evolving. It's frozen in time. It's a bond that remains safe from the pain of growing apart. Have you ever looked at your dog or cat and felt a sudden, overwhelming wave of what feels almost like aggression? A feeling like you want to squeeze them or bite them because you just can't handle how cute they are. That's called cute aggression, and it's your brain attempting to regulate an overdose of love hormones. But why do we feel it? It's because of a concept called neoteny. Humans are hardwired to protect babies. Evolution installed biological code in us that says if something has big eyes, a round forehead, a small nose, and clumsy movements, you must keep it alive. This is the baby schema that triggers our nurturing instincts. Human children eventually grow out of this appearance. They get lanky, their features sharpen. They stop looking like helpless infants. Your pet never grows out of it. A dog, a cat, even a rabbit are biologically designed to remain in a permanent state of baby-like appearance. When you look at them, your brain releases oxytocin, the exact same hormone that bonds a mother to her newborn infant. This isn't a metaphor or exaggeration. If we scan your brain while you look into your dog's eyes, the chemical signature is nearly identical to a parent looking at their child. So when you call yourself a mom or dad to your pet, you aren't role-playing or pretending. You're describing the chemical reality in your bloodstream. You're a parent because your brain has decided you're one. But biology is only the hardware of this relationship. Let's talk about the software, specifically attachment theory. In human relationships, attachment is complicated and fraught with difficulty. Children grow up. They learn to speak. They learn to judge. They learn to say hurtful things. They leave for college. They form their own separate lives. Human parenting is fundamentally a process of letting go. Pet parenting is a process of holding on. For the person who treats their pet like a child, this animal represents something human children cannot provide. The eternal innocent. Your pet will never become a teenager who slams doors. They will never criticize your career choices or life decisions. They will never move to another city and forget to call. Psychologically, the fur baby offers a secure base without the risk of rejection. If you're someone who has experienced abandonment in your past, or if you're someone who finds the complexity of human relationships exhausting and overwhelming, the pet becomes the antidote. It's a relationship frozen in the honeymoon phase of parenting. It's the joy of nurturing without the pain of separation. You're drawn to this dynamic not because you're avoiding reality, but because you're seeking a safe harbor. You're creating a bond that's unbreakable by time or maturity. You're choosing a child who will need you, love you, and stay with you until the very end. A pet offers simple, uncomplicated love. This represents a massive draw for people who live with high anxiety or who deal with significant stress in their daily lives. When you come home to your fur baby, you don't have to explain your day. You don't have to apologize for being tired or irritable. You don't have to pretend to be happy when you're not. They just want you exactly as you are. Maybe you felt judged by your own parents growing up. Maybe you feel judged by society now. But your dog, your cat, they think you are essentially a god. This is why we spoil them. This is why we cook them special meals and let them sleep in our beds. We're rewarding them for making us feel safe. We're giving them the best life possible because they give us the only place in the world where we are unconditionally enough. Now let's examine you, the human in this equation. Who are you really? Society likes to paint the pet parent as someone filling a void, as the stereotypical crazy cat lady or the couple who couldn't have kids. This is a lazy analysis that misses the deeper truth. The reality is that people who treat pets like children are often high-capacity nurturers. You have a surplus of caregiving energy that needs somewhere to go. You're likely the person in your friend group who makes sure everyone got home safely. You're the one who remembers birthdays. You're the one who worries about others. For millennials and Gen Z generations, this is even more profound. The world is expensive. The future feels uncertain. Traditional milestones like buying a house or having a human family feel financially out of reach for many people. But the nurturing instinct, the fundamental need to take care of something, doesn't just disappear. It's still there. It needs a place to go. So the pet becomes the recipient of all that caregiving energy. They're not a replacement in a negative sense. They're an alternative pathway. They allow people to have a family without the crushing weight of modern financial stress. They allow you to be a caregiver without giving up your entire freedom. They're a version of parenthood that fits into a busy modern life. This is you claiming your identity as a caregiver. You're saying, I have love to give, and I will give it to the creature that appreciates it most. And for many, that bond is just as real and just as important as any blood relation. It's a family chosen rather than born. There's another psychological layer here, a darker one about control. Raising a human child is messy and unpredictable. You can do everything right and things can still go wrong. They make their own choices that you can't control. But with a pet, you have almost total control. You choose what they eat. You choose where they go. You choose who they interact with. And for people who feel like their own lives are spinning out of control, maybe your job is chaotic or the world feels scary. Raising a pet perfectly becomes a way to cope with anxiety. You see this in owners who are obsessed with finding the perfect diet for their dog or maintaining a strict schedule for their cat. They're channeling all their anxiety into caring for this creature. It feels good to be the master of a small, manageable world. It feels good to know that you can keep this one living thing happy and healthy, even if the rest of the world is falling apart around you. Not all pet parents are doing this for the same reason. Some of you are what I'd call the guardian, the anxious protector. You're the one who doesn't trust the dog walker. You have cameras in your house to watch your pet while you're at work. You worry if they sneeze. Psychologically, you're likely a person with high empathy, but also high anxiety. Your pet is your external heart. When they're safe, you feel safe. When they're vulnerable, you feel exposed. You treat them like a child because you know how fragile life is. You're a protector of the innocent, and your love is fierce, vigilant, and all-consuming. Others are what I'd call the soulmate type, the deep bonder. You don't just take care of your pet, you talk to them. You feel like they genuinely understand your words. You prefer a Friday night with your dog to a night out with friends. Psychologically, you're seeking intellectual and emotional intimacy. You treat them like a child, but also like a companion or partner. You value authenticity above all else. Humans force you to wear social masks. Your pet allows you to take those masks off. You're likely an introvert, a thinker, someone who values deep, quiet connection over superficial social noise. Then there's the redeemer, the healer. Maybe you rescued your pet. Maybe they were broken, scared, or sick when you found them and you fixed them. Psychologically, you're a restorer. By saving them, you're often healing a part of yourself. Every time you show them kindness, you're proving that the world can be good. You treat them like a child because you want to give them the safety and love you perhaps didn't have yourself, or the safety you wish you saw more of in the world. This is the most noble form of psychological projection. But just as we can heal them, they can heal us, specifically our inner child. This might be the most powerful point. When we treat our pets like children, we're often fixing the way we were treated when we were small. Think about it carefully. The way you talk to your dog, saying things like, "You're so good, you're so smart, look at you." Is that how your parents talked to you? If it wasn't, then you're doing something called reparenting. You're giving this animal the love, the patience, and the safety that you wished you had as a child. Every time you buy them a toy, you're healing a little part of yourself that didn't get enough toys. Every time you hold them when they're scared of thunder, you're healing the part of yourself that was left alone in the dark. You're proving to yourself that you're capable of being a good, protective parent. You're breaking cycles of pain using a different species as the vehicle. This is why it hurts so much when people mock pet parents. They don't see that it's not just about the dog. It's about a person trying to put more love into the world than they took out of it. Because we love them like children. We grieve them like children. This is perhaps the hardest part of the psychology. When a pet parent loses their baby, society often tells them to just get over it. They say it was just a dog or just a cat. But the brain doesn't agree with that assessment. The brain has lost its primary source of daily oxytocin. It has lost its routine. It has lost the creature that relied on it for everything. The pain is often what psychologists call disenfranchised grief, meaning it's grief that society doesn't respect or validate. This makes it even harder to heal from. If you treat your pet like a child, you need to know that your pain is completely valid. You're losing a family member. You're losing the only witness to your most private life. The silence in the house becomes heavy because the child who filled it with life is gone. So where does this leave us? We're living in a time where the definition of family is fundamentally expanding. For thousands of years, family was primarily about survival and biological lineage. Today, family is increasingly about connection and choice. If you treat your pet like your child, you're a pioneer of this new emotional landscape. You're proving that biology doesn't define family. Love defines family. You're proving that a soul is a soul regardless of what body it inhabits. There's a profound spiritual maturity in looking at a creature that cannot speak, that looks nothing like you, and saying, "You are mine and I am yours." So if you're one of those people who calls your dog your son or your cat your daughter, don't let anyone make you feel stupid or childish. You're simply a person with a significant amount of love to give, and you've found the safest, purest place to invest it. You've found a relationship that's free of lies, free of judgment, free of the complications of human ego and social games. You've chosen to be a guardian to a soul that cannot speak human language. And in return, they've given you a love that doesn't need words to be understood. Whether your motivation comes from biology, from past trauma, or simply from the need for connection, the relationship is real and valid. So go ahead and buy the sweater, cook the special chicken, talk to them in that silly voice. Because in a world that can be so hard and so cold, loving something with your whole heart is never a mistake. Family isn't always about whose blood runs through your veins. Sometimes it's about who's waiting for you at the door when you finally come home.